In my chapter, I tried to introduce the reader to the key concepts of digital platforms. What I've done is a survey of the most common concepts and the way we think about them and the way we discuss digital transformations. They fall into two different categories. First, I'll look at value creation, the part of the platform that is oriented towards innovation. Then secondly, I look at concepts associated with value capture. That is how we make money from the innovations. I think the reason why people would like to read this is that I not only provide you with an overview of the concepts, an introduction to the discussions, it's actually a critical discussion. What the reader would get out of the critique is that the world is not as closed as you would assume if you read the reports on digitalization. What you perhaps could get away from reading the digitalization debates is that we, on the one hand, are left in the dust of 3 or 4 or 5 major digital platforms, among which we find, of course, Apple, we find Google, we find Amazon, we find Facebook. Well, our discussion of network externalities, which is the major theory that explains value capture, what that discussion shows is in fact that network externalities is not as forceful as we tend to think they are. It means that the number of users, the number of nodes in a network does not explain the competitiveness and the value of the network. That is a conceptual and empirical mistake to think. Now, the value of that insight is that there's much more room for innovation and change in the digital economy than we otherwise would conclude. So, what is the primary example? Well, if you think about it, Symbian, the largest mobile phone operating system by 2009, this is 2 years after Apple introduced its iPhone, it was still 60% of the market. Yet, Apple could dethrone Nokia. And there's many other examples where we can show that large platforms with lots of network externalities in support of the platform actually collapse pretty quickly. So it's something which actually works besides the network externalities. I think that's a very major and very positive conclusion.